Okay, this is part two. Now, I was speaking as if I was the white guy battling the Asian guy. It's just so everybody understands that I am 5'3". I don't have long legs or long arms. I have, I guess, standard size, whatever, 5'3" and a half your range in your arms are. Just so that nobody takes that and goes out of proportion. Well, James, you said you had. Yeah, I was metaphorically speaking. It was a metaphor. It goes over your head. No, it won't, because I'm too fast. I will catch it. Anyway, sorry. All jokes aside, way to go, Batista, for knocking the cabin door. Anyway, back to today. Your range training is probably on one of the lines of the five most important things that you need to know. All right? Your ability to adapt and your skill level should probably be first. Your ability to know that your limits are only set by your physicality and what you physically cannot perform. But they are not handicaps. You can turn any weakness into a strength. You just have to find the weakness and then find a way to surpass it. All right. Now I know that sounds all kinds of fantastically fantasy and shit, but I'm 5'3" and a half. Everybody I've ever fought has been over 6 feet tall. Yeah, they've definitely been over 5'5". If not touching 6 feet, they've been at least 6 feet. The tallest person has been at least 6'2.5" or 6'3". I don't know because I was 5'1" at the time, and I was 15 and he was 13, and he was huge as a fucking house. And like I said, I probably would not have beaten him if I wasn't scared. All right, if I wasn't scared, I probably wouldn't have beat him. I also had golf cleats on, which also determines that you get kicked with some golf cleats, you're gonna fucking know it. You get kicked with any kind of cleats, you're gonna fucking know it. So the thing is, it was a long time coming. It was just like sooner or later it was gonna happen, and it did. And he just knew that he could beat me, and I just thought that I was gonna die. So that's kind of how that worked out. I didn't die because I'm here, and I didn't lose. And then everybody in the project saw that shit, so they kind of started leaving Kung Fu Daniel alone. As in, they used to make fun of me and call me Danielle son because Karate Kid was big, and people of color, man. We have weird ways of fucking with people. Anyway, you have to understand that the range of your opponent is equally as important as the range you have. The range you have versus the range of your opponent is going to determine how you are going to find your victory. Because if your opponent is like that white guy versus that Asian guy, and the white guy was taller, he did not have to work that hard, just has to keep him off. Because it's a sporting event. And in a sporting event, you're fighting for points. And if you get the KO, it's like a zillion extra points. If you get the TKO, you get less than a zillion. But if you get the KO, when you put somebody slam the hell to sleep, or if you get the tap out, or you get the choke out, you're getting like a zillion extra points. But like if you're just like scoring points with every contact, and you have more range than your opponent, you don't have to worry about a knockout. You just keep fighting smart. Just keep him at bay until the fight. And once the bell rings, he's lost all those points that he could have gained because he couldn't get in. And you have to understand, in all fights, regardless of whether they're sports or whether they're out in the streets, your range is very important. Your ability to control your own range is equally important. Because if you can control your range, you can control someone else's. But the thing is, you have to learn that. So, if you're going to be a martial artist and you are going to spar, and you may have some gender issues about sparring with girls, so spar with at least one girl. But make sure it's a girl that actually will spar and like not hold back and fight your ass back. And if you're fighting with guys, spar with every guy in the dojo. Every one of them. And I know that people are going to say, that's insane. Yes, it is. But you know what's not insane? Is if you're learning how close you can be to that skill level martial artist and you're learning their range. So if you lose that sparring match, like that first time y'all spar, you will probably lose. But if you lose it, you are going to learn what not to do the next time around. A lot of people don't understand you win more fights by losing sparring matches because it intensely intensifies your ability to learn more about yourself, and it will make you want to fucking work harder. And I said this on TikTok, so I'll say it here. Um, Training doesn't end when you leave the dojo. You know, Training has to be a part of your life. It is the air we breathe, the food we eat, the naps we sleep. It has to be everything in your life. If you want to take martial arts serious, if you want to be seriously taken as a martial artist, it has to be your everything. You go to class for an hour, 45 minutes. When you come home, 5 minutes. What's 5 more minutes? You come home, what's 10 more minutes? What's a half hour? What's another hour? If you really love this shit, you're going to put that shit in. Now, I will say life has gotten in the way. All right, life has gotten in the way because I wasn't the blessed few of you who were chosen to become professional athletes. All right, that's the difference maker with martial artists who do this for a living versus martial artists who never got the chance to do this for a living, which is where I fall in. But I still train. Oh, it's called Kung Fu Havoc #2. Yeah, lately I haven't done a lot of Kung Fu stuff, but it's called Kung Fu Havoc #2. You know, it's about martial arts, specifically Kung Fu. And the thing is, you have to maneuver your life around your martial arts. All right, I can't train on my job unless my boss isn't there. So I do my job first, and then I'll train. So if you ever see me have a uh, Friday Night Live at my job, it's because my boss isn't there. And if he's not there, I can film inside. Because of the weather, I haven't been able to film lately, so that's why there's been no Friday Night Lives. If this weekend's weather is great, I can probably get some shit in. I don't have a home of my own, so I can't just film whenever the fuck I want. I have to wait until the house is clear or the house is empty for shit to go down. Now, here's the thing, if you're not training, you're gonna have a problem. I don't get to train as much as I want, but I practice what I preach. I do get that training in. I didn't get any training in today. I had to deal with a child that is not mine. I will probably have to deal with that same child come tomorrow, but we will see. But I do sometimes sit in my room, in this chair, and no, I'll get it in. If only for 2 minutes, I will still get it in. And don't worry, this isn't camera tricks because I'm not that good. But when you're practicing, boom, 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 practice in front of the camera. However, that's a distraction. It will fuck you up because looking at it this way versus me looking at it this way, it looks fine from my eyesight doing it this way. But when I'm doing it like this, it looks like I'm a rock'em sock'em robot. So whatever doesn't distract you, do it that way. But from 7 to 49, I have found ways to train as best I could. At every second that I could train, I would train. Now, a lot of people are like, well, that doesn't make sense. No, it makes sense. It's because it's what I want. It's what makes me happy. No, I'm not here to be the next Bruce Lee. But I don't mind sliding Bruce to the side a little bit and jumping up on that bandwagon. But the thing at being 5'3", being mixed, and no one giving you a chance at the glory in which I deserve, it's gonna be a lot difficult. And now at 49, I gotta hurry up before my face catches up with my age. And the thing is, if I'm not given a chance, you're never gonna know what I can do because no one's trying to give me a chance. That's not about me though. This is about range training. So at your range, if you're just gonna do this, these are your chain punches. So you want to change it. Boom, 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 boom. Want to change it to blocks. Boom, 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 boom. Now it looks corny as fuck to the outside looking in. But to a trained martial artist, you saw up block, side block, up block, side block, down block, up, down, down, down. You saw that. It didn't look like that to you because you probably aren't a martial artist, so it probably looked like some crazy shit. Alright? Block, 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 block. Now, if you're doing Kung Fu, full Wing Chun, southpaw, right hand in front, left hand here. So, boom, boom, that's your first strike. So you can see it, boom, boom. Now, this is just in case. So usually it's like this. Boom, boom. Slew, slew. Alright? Now, for blocking shit, boom, boom, that's your return. And if you want to do Kung Fu, block, boom, low kick to the shin. So it just really depends on your teaching and your training. And like I said, training doesn't end when class stops. Training just begins when class stops. You go to the dojo 5 days a week, And you're probably thinking, well, I go 5 days a week, 6 days on freestyle Saturday. I don't need to train when I go home. Actually, yeah, you fucking do. You don't stop training. You don't stop training. Because how else are you going to train for range? It's freestyle sparring on Saturday. It's the best day to spar with everybody in the room. In fact, with the exception of ranking members of the dojo, like any belt higher than a fucking brown belt, because that means red and black are next, depending on the school. Anything under a brown belt, you should be able to spar with every day. Well, every freestyle Saturday or however your school works. And I know people are like, but if I'm a white belt, why should I spar with a brown belt or a black belt or a red belt? Because that's the level 1 that you're trying to get to. And level 2, the best way to learn is to learn from someone who's a little bit higher than you in level wise. So if I'm a white belt and I'm sparring with a 7th degree yellow belt, he's only 1 belt higher than me. He has a 7th degree. I don't know why you have to have so many goddamn degrees, but yeah, it really doesn't make sense. You get a 7th degree white belt, so basically you're a white belt with a yellow stripe. I don't know why you have to go through so much bullshit when you could just go ahead and give me the yellow belt. You're a 3rd degree yellow. You got like 3 green stripes on your yellow belt. Again, I don't know what the fucking purpose of that is. I don't know who you guys are trying to teach, but some schools are like that, where for every, like, let's say we got 7 degrees at each belt. So the first 7 degrees of that white belt, you get like 7 yellow bands around your fucking belt. I don't have time to waste time trying to do all that shit. Just give me straight to the fucking yellow belt. Because here's the thing. If you ever notice in school, 1st grade is a basic repeat of kindergarten with a little extra salt on it. 2nd grade is a repeat of the 1st grade with a little extra salt. By the time you hit the 4th grade, you're starting to get pepper on your food now. By the time you hit the 7th grade, you're getting Miss Dash. And by the time you get to the 10th grade, you've got all of the Colonel's 11 or 41 spices and shit all over the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Just look at it that way. So, why do I need all that? When all I need to know is if I can fight when the time is right. And again, this is important to the video because about range. I've only fought people bigger than me because I know how to control their range. I also know how to piss them off enough that if they lose this, they lose this. As a person lose control of the fight, fight's yours. Unless you're the idiot losing control. You're going to get tagged. In the other video, I mentioned that I got my ass kicked by a dude named Corey while we were boxing. Alright? I don't box. I suck at it. I'm a little better at it now. I got hands, but that does not mean I'm a good boxer. It just means I can put those gloves on and we can go. It's more than likely if it's going to be about points, you're going to win. But if it's going to be about a knockout, good luck, because you're not going to knock me out unless your glove is loaded. Like if you got brass knucks in your gloves, yeah, then you're gonna win because you're gonna cheat and you're gonna knock my ass out. But in reality, I'm tough as fucking nails. You're not going to knock me out because fighting is something I've been doing since I was 6 fucking years old. I know what the fuck I'm doing. So every time you throw a jab, either I'm gonna take one or I'm gonna block it. If you throw boom boom, like you hit me with a 2-piece and I take that first one, I'm probably going to take the second one. But if I block that first one and I don't see the second one, then I'm going to take the hit. But let's say I block both. The thing about fighting is fighting. Regardless of what style of fighting it is. Fighting is fighting, and fighting makes me happy to a degree. So I'm either going to absorb the blow, or I'm going to fucking get knocked the fuck out, or I'm going to turn that shit around and not get hit at all. Which is not impossible, but it's highly improbable that you are going to get into a fight where you are not going to get hit. That's like, you'd have to be Jesus, alright? You literally would have to be Jesus to get into a fight with someone, and they never hit you at all. So either you're Jesus or you're making one hell of a fucking movie. Because I can tell you right now, if you get into a fight, you're going to get hit. And you need to be prepared for that. And if you're not prepared for that, well, then you're going to sleep. I'm sorry. I'm just going to put that out there. And I know you're all thinking, you got off track. Yes, I did. But there's a reason. Because range attacks are very fucking important. You have to control the range. If you have short arms, you know you have to get in. You know you have to get in if you have short arms or short legs. I'm a short person. I have to work harder on a taller person. And it's not because they are better at fighting. It's just because they have range and they have height. I'm not going to jump up and try to punch them in the face. That's not a fucking option. Because if I leave the ground for any means whatsoever on my own accord, it's a good chance that, excuse me, I'm going to find myself on the ground by their accord. Now let's see, they jump at me, I can sidestep. See, I just have to wait for them to make the fucking mistake. The same thing that they're not thinking, I'm thinking. It's like, he's short. I got him. I just gotta fucking outrange him. If I can just keep him at bay. Keep him at bay. Yeah. If you can keep me at bay, if you can keep me from my striking distance versus your striking distance, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be more in your favor because you have that range. You have those long arms, those long legs, and they're going to keep me from getting a fucking job done. Unless I fight smarter too. I know this going in. This is what you have to know about a fight going in. I'm 5'3.5". Most everybody I fought has been 5'7", 5'5", 6 feet or better. They've never been shorter than me. Barely anybody's been 5'4", anybody's been 5'3". Everybody that I've ever fought with or ever had a sparring match with has always been bigger than me. This is why I'm good at fucking reading your range. Because I'm short. And I know that if I can keep you at bay with your own range, if I can sucker you into fucking up, I got this fight. If I can make you underestimate me and think that you are just going to come in guns blazing and whoop my ass, I got this fight. And 9 times out of 10, that has been the key to my success, because everybody's looked at me and said, oh, he's 5 foot nothing, he's 100 and nothing. I'm gonna mop the floor with this guy. And as long as you're thinking like that, you're gonna get the floor mopped with yourself, because you underestimated me by size. I don't have upper body strength. I don't have lower body strength. But see, I know that. You don't know what I have until I hit you. My job is to make sure that I get at least one good fucking hit in. And if I can get that good hit in at the right spot, at the right place, at the right moment in that fight, it's over. And you're going to sleep. Now on the flip side of that, I gotta do all the work. Now on the flip side, on your side, if you know what I just said going in, then we got a problem. Which means I gotta work. But if you don't know all that shit going in, I'm going to get that victory because you're underestimating me, thinking, oh, well, he's 5'0", he's 100 don't know if I'm Adam and Eve, I'm going to fuck him up. You know, many people have found out that little guys like me pack a hell of a punch, and little guys like me, we're just dynamite waiting to explode. We're actually nuclear reactors. It has nothing to do with Napoleon syndrome. Some of us have Napoleon syndrome. I've never had a problem with being short, because once I learned how to accept it, I learned how to use it to my advantage. And that's a lot of things that people don't teach you in a fight. Use what you think is a weakness as a strength. My only weakness is getting kicked in the nuts. No, that's pretty much it. And no one's really going to do that unless they're in a street fight. So I'm always guarding that, but I always guard my face. As for like the sternum and the throat, I guard that, but I'm a small guy. Those targets are very small for big-handed people to try to get to, and I'm always protecting them. And I've also studied various forms of martial arts, so I know that I need to use certain moves as certain punches. If you throw a punch and I throw a Kimbo double knuckle jab, boom, and I strike your metacarpals and you snatch your hand back, I'm going in. Because one, you're not going to think that I'm going to target fight your hands. You think I'm going to hit you in the face, which most people are taught when they are fighting. Hit him in the face. If you hit the head, the body will follow. Or if you hit the body, the head will follow. That's not always the case. Some people are tough as fucking nails, and you can hit them in the face all goddamn day and do no fucking damage. Where if you hit them in the throat and collapse their windpipe, oh, it's over. It's over. But see, in sporting events, you are not allowed to do that. You can, like, do that in wrestling, catch them there, but you can't put force behind it, just enough to let them know, sell the hit. And they go like this. But they do take physical damage, but you're not allowed to physically hit them in a spot that can fucking fatally kill them. A lot of people don't understand how wrestling works, and I understand how that works. I understand how fighting works. I've made a fucking couple of movies that no one's ever seen, but, you have to understand how these things fucking work. If you can't get them to work, that's when you have the fucking problem. So you have to be able to manage the shit and manage it well enough that you can get it done. And if you can get it done, then you're good. If you can't get it done, well, you're fucked. But anyway, moving on. If I know that you got like right here to right there for before your fist closes to my forehead. So it's like that. So that's a whole 2 inches. So if I know if you and I both stand like this and you can touch my forehead and I can't touch any part of your body, I know that I'm within 2 inches of being hit, and I know that I need to make sure that I adjust accordingly. Now, see, a lot of people don't teach their students how to adapt in a fight. That becomes a fucking problem. You have to learn how to adapt in a fight, which goes back to spar with everybody on Freestyle Saturday. Unless they don't want to spar, don't push the issue. Just say, look, I want to spar with everybody so I can test my range. And they'll be like, why do you want to test your range? You're this tall or this. No, because if I can test my range, then I can adapt and reevaluate when I get into some trouble, or if I have another sparring match, or if you beat my ass this time, I'll have learned from that so that I won't get my ass beat again, like being a Super Saiyan. You beat my ass one time, you'll never beat me again. And that's generally how that shit works. But if you train like that, then you won't have to worry about getting your ass kicked because you'll already know what to do when you come into training. Because here's the thing. Everybody is different. But the same range that somebody who's 5'7" has, that you fought yesterday, will have the same range as somebody who's 5'7" today. Now, the only difference is it's a different body, and you got to give or take a couple of centimeters. And it was like, but you just said, yeah, same height, different body. So they may have longer arms or longer legs than the other guy that you fought that was 5'7". We look the same on the outside, but we're all different. So if I'm fighting you and you're 5'7", and I know that I have a 2-inch margin between you and me for me to get a striking distance, and the new guy has a 5-inch margin, which means if his hand's here and he makes a fist and his hand's like literally on my forehead, when he made the fist, he didn't have to move. He just did like this and then made the fist and he's on my forehead. That's a 5-inch margin that I can't afford to have. So now that I know that, I need to make sure that I am able to stop him before he can get that hit in. And I need to learn how to fight smarter, not harder. Where if you fight smarter versus fighting harder, you have a better chance of a victory versus, the alternative. Now, it works different in the fighting arena as it does in the streets. In the streets, no one gives a shit about that 2-inch or that 5-inch margin. No one gives a fuck about your weight class. No one gives a fuck about that black belt. No one gives a goddamn if you're a champion. They only know that there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And you don't want to be the loser. So, therefore, there's always a draw. Or there's the easy way. You all can just both shake hands and walk the fuck away. But sometimes tempers don't work like that. And people get mad. And then shit goes completely caca. And then everybody's mad because, well, you just beat that dude's ass. Or you're mad because that dude beat your ass. So, when you go into a fight, the last thing you should ever think is that this guy's going to kick my ass. But always know that it is highly possible that your ass can get kicked. It's not a negative thing, but it's a negative thing if you straight tell yourself before the fight's going to start that this guy's going to kick your ass. Because you already beat yourself and then he's going to beat you. I lost a sparring match exactly that way by saying, this guy's going to beat my ass. As soon as I said that, I lost. And my family never let me live that down until I flipped the script. And I said, okay, yeah, he beat me. Now let's see you try it. Because then I hit him with the ultimate line. And this works for everybody. It makes people shut the fuck up. That's it. Which one of us is the real fighter? The guy who stand there and take the ass whooping? Or the guy who has to go hire somebody else to fight their battles because they can't? And they left me alone ever since. It's like, you know what? You're right. Because we had to go get somebody to beat you because we weren't man enough to step up and do it ourselves. After that, nobody bothered me anymore. So yeah, I lost that one sparring match. One. But I've lost many sparring matches, which is why I got good at actual fighting. I've never lost a real fight. I've only lost sparring matches. And in losing sparring matches, I learn from those shit so that if the fight ever breaks out, I'm not going to lose. In closing, another reason why I talk about range training is because that time I got jumped on my job at Kegler's for showing off martial arts to a friend who showed two of his friends who were rednecks who decided they wanted to jump the chief. So, the one guy that jumped me actually was pretty tall, and he was ragdolling me. Because he was over 6 feet, at least 6'1". The guy that was running his mouth was every bit of 5'8", 5'9", and the guy that I showed everything was between 5'7" and 5'8". They were all roughly running about the same height-wise, but the guy that grabbed me was the biggest out of the three of them. And so when he grabbed me and he ragdolled me, I didn't panic, but I was like, oh, this shit ain't gonna work. So I flipped. And when I flipped, we both flipped. And I landed on top. And when I landed on top, my elbow was close enough to his sternum that I just said, and I grind that shit. And he let go because he had me in a gorilla grip. And he let go. He come up off me. I rolled up off of him. And I got ready to fuck him up. I said, get up. I'm going to give you the chance you didn't give me because I'm not going to jump you from the back like a bitch. I'm going to go ahead and fight you face to face. He couldn't get up. He couldn't breathe because I fucked up his goddamn breathing. And when he finally could get up, I was going in for the kill. His girlfriend was magic because she was far enough away that there was no way she could get in front of him in the time that she got there. And I saw her just in time. As I had fully extended my arm, I stopped right there at her face. Like right there. And I was like, ma'am, you need to move. I don't hit girls, but your boyfriend here, I'm sending him the fuck to hell. And then I'm sending his motor mouth friend right behind him. I was like, no, we just wanted to see if you was good. I said, oh, no. I'm about to show you how good I am. And then, you know, my friend's like, man, I didn't know they was going to do that. I didn't know that. I was like, hey, you are the only one that's safe right now. You and these girls because they have boobs. But these two dudes, oh, y'all motherfuckers is going to die. So they apologized and they left. My co-worker, his name was Chris, really tall, linky white dude. He watched the whole goddamn thing. And the only thing he could say at the end was, you really do know Kung Fu. That was badass, dude. When I seen you flip that dude, man, I'm like, oh my fucking God, you totally watched that shit and didn't come up there to help me. You ain't need my help. I saw you. That shit was fucking awesome. What did you do when you landed on his back? I said, man, I elbowed him in the fucking sternum. And then I rolled up off of him and got ready to fuck his world. I saw that. That shit was fucking awesome. So, yeah. Again, you have to spar with everybody in the dojo. Now, I'm not saying go, like, get cocky and start threatening black belts and green belts and stuff like that. But just request nicely, like, look, do you, because of your height, you're, like, yay so much taller than me, I want to be able to check my range. So I need to spar with you so I can test my range and see if I can combat somebody your size and check their range. And if they're like, what does that mean? It's like, well, Echo Fang Grey Wolf on Kung Fu Havoc #2 said that we should always check each other's range because if the person is taller, they're going to have longer range. And if you go into this as a sporting career and you have long range, you don't have to fight hard. You just have to keep them within your range of striking distance, which means like the Asian dude was getting his ass kicked because he just could not get the fuck in. This is very important. Whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. But it is very important to know your fucking range in a fight. It is. It's very important to know striking distance. It's very important to be aware of sucker punches because that shit does happen. It is very important to understand that your opponent's range is going to dictate that fight if you don't get that first move in. If you're in a sporting event and the bell rings and he just like wheels in on you and you can't get anything in, you're either going to go to sleep or you're just going to have to hold out to the next round. And then if you make it to the next round and you haven't learned how to adapt, you're going to get through the same shit. Now, the guy on the other end of that, the guy giving you the business, if he knows his range and he knows how to control you with his range by just keep toe chest, and just keep pushing you up with a front kick, you know, he's got you all day. So if you don't know how to let him extend that leg and then you bat it and then you strike, then you're going to be fucked every fucking time. Just like in that video. He got fucked every time because he did not get the guy out of the way. You know, the guy kept kicking him in the chest. He kept putting his foot in his chest. It's like, dude, he's kicking you in the chest. Bat that bitch. You know, knock it out of the way. He hit him like maybe once or twice in the face in the video, but he mostly kept using his legs and keeping him at range. So if the white guy won the fight, he won it by points. He didn't win it by knockout, I can guarantee you that. And the Asian fella was getting pissed off because he just couldn't get in the range, which goes to show not everybody teaches you range training. I'm so glad that when I was 7 years old, my first sensei, God rest your soul, because I don't know where the hell you are and I can't remember what the fuck you look like, but I'm so glad that he taught me so much shit instead of trying to make me learn katas. So, that being said, check your range, y'all. Please check your fucking range. Learn what your range is for. And then that'll be that. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Echo Fang Grey Wolf. I hope I taught you something. Peace in you.